When I was but a youngin', I had the tendency to associate games not with the company who made them, but the console they appeared on. So when I looked towards Nintendo, they seemed like an RPG slash everything under the sun powerhouse. I mean, Earthbound alone would be enough to satisfy some, but you also get Chrono Trigger, Legend of Mana, Super Mario RPG, not to mention Final Fantasies 2 and 3, and that's almost the entire series before Japan decided that we could handle counting. And as we got ever so close to Nintendo's new confangled 3D console's release, multiple magazines began to speak of what looked like an amazing role-playing game that was coming exclusively to Nintendo's new platform. The game was called Final Fantasy 64, and while I wasn't sure how we jumped from 3 to 64 so quickly, it looked damn impressive, and I knew I had to buy a Nintendo 64 in order to play this exclusive Final Fantasy experience. And then the game never came out, causing me to form a deep grudge towards magazines everywhere. And so today on Gaming Mysteries, I'll be talking about Final Fantasy 64. Now, Final Fantasy 64, also referred to as Final Fantasy 7 by some, as I previously mentioned, was shown off in a number of gaming magazines during the big effort to hype up the N64, or Ultra 64 depending on what year we're in. Some of the articles even featured screenshots of the alleged game, claiming that they were actual screenshots of a game currently in development for Nintendo's Ultra 64, and that the game, in many a gamer's opinion, which they basically quoted themselves on that one, but in many a gamer's opinion, in all caps, this is the Ultra 64 game. And also, it's going to come out in December of 1996. Lying to your readers is writing 101 for those not in the know, but we were simply readers, and had no way of knowing any better, so we had to take things at face value. New Final Fantasy game for the N64, yay! This had a bit of a snowball effect, with more magazines, including Nintendo Power, may angels sing thee to thy rest, speculating on the title further and getting everyone excited for this new hot game called Final Fantasy 64 or Final Fantasy 7. Until Square stepped up and announced Final Fantasy 7 for the PlayStation, which of course led to a huge clusterfuck fanboy fight, which is always fun to watch from the sidelines, though that's not really what caught my interest. The game that was actually Final Fantasy VII looked nothing like this Final Fantasy 64 we were talking about, which begged the question of what happened to that quote-unquote game. I mean, pictures were shown of it, so it had to have existed in some form or another. Fan speculation on the topic ran from it being a prototype Final Fantasy VII that they had cancelled, or a planned remake of Final Fantasy VI that they decided to scrap, though in reality what we had been led to believe was a game by evil magazines was an interactive tech demo from Square. The demonstration that came to be known as Final Fantasy VI The Interactive CG Game, because Square gets paid by the word, features Terra, Locke, and Shadow from Final Fantasy VI, with some slight alterations to their designs, engaging in battle with an enemy golem. People at the event could issue commands to the characters by using a mouse to draw certain shapes which would correspond to different commands. For example, you draw a star to do magic, or other shapes for physical moves, and even summons. It was an excellent looking demo and looked hype as hell, but it was, to my dismay, not a game. It was also not a cancelled Final Fantasy VI remake, to my dismay even more, or a prototype Final Fantasy VII, or even a demo of an actual game that Square was working on for the N64 or the PlayStation. The demo was simply that, a demo. But it was a demo with purpose, as it was designed to show what Square envisioned the next generations of RPGs would, or could be. To quote Sakaguchi, at the time, we were not sure what the next generation RPG game should look like, so as an experiment, we created a CG-based, game-like interactive demo to be presented at the show. It focused on battle scenes that were 100% real-time and polygon-based. This became the seed of Final Fantasy VII, and it was then that we decided to make this a CG-based game. And heading in the direction of CG is part of the reason why Square had to move away from Nintendo and cartridges and go with Sony and CDs. As they worked more with the project, they eventually came up with the idea to eliminate the connection between cutscenes and the game's field, without having to fade to black. Instead, having the scene continue, with you remaining in control of the characters, all while maintaining the quality of the cutscene going on. Basically, their tendency to want to make everything look really pretty made CDs the easiest non-nightmarish cartridge scenario they could go for. Despite it being nothing more than a tech demo though, it still marks an important part in Final Fantasy's history, with it serving as Square's first step in presenting Final Fantasy in a 3D world. And even though nothing became of the demo itself, the creation of it helped Square familiarize themselves with developing 3D games, and technology shown off in the demo would make their way into future installments of the series to make things look all pretty and stuff. But that was Final Fantasy XVI, a lie/tech demo that I heard about from my youth. Now, while I fully understand that it's not an actual game, I am really sad that this game didn't come out and that it's not an actual game, because the N64 had like 5 RPGs, maybe 7, but I feel like that's kind of pushing it a little bit, and Final Fantasy VI was amazing. An N64 version of that would have been fucking great. I'd forgive Quest 64 and Quest 64. It's forgiven, but what's done is done. For the meantime, I guess all I can do is look towards the future of Final Fantasy and all those wonderful fringes. This has been Gaming Mysteries. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, welcome back to Slate, where you just watched the Gaming Mysteries on Final Fantasy XVI, a video I've been meaning to do for about 4 years now, so I'm only slightly late, and I hope you enjoyed the video and stuff. Sorry I've been gone for a while, also, you know, I'm sickly. But I'm not going to waste too much of your time on Slate today, as this was a shorter video, so I don't want to ramble as much, but I do have to discipline this Slate for messing up Sony Vegas. Slate overpowered Sony Vegas and crashed it, so I couldn't upload this video yesterday. It was very upsetting. So I had to discipline that Slate like you wouldn't even believe. But enough of that. Let's get down to business. The slating. The first thing I'll do is recommend the last video I did on this channel, which was a bullshit creepypasta story time on There's More to It Than Just a Game. Trying to live on the coattails of Ben Drowned. You're doing a bad job. The other 2 videos will be random ones that I picked out. On the bottom of the screen there's social media. You can go to Nico, who is the one who made all the amazing art for the channel and the Slate and all this stuff and the avatars and stuff. You can go to check out his stuff on Twitter. And then there's my stuff. I'm mostly on Twitter, but I'm not going to advertise that. And if you like the video and want to see more, and want to like the video or subscribe or share or do any of the things that people always ask you to do, you're more than free to do so, though I will not demand you to do so. Do so only of your free will, because you are your own person, and math is power. So I love you. Next time on Slate, who knows what's gonna happen? Christmas is coming up. This went on for way too long. Goddamn. Bye guys, see you next time on Slate.